Hey, mighty men of God, Joe Martin here with RealMenConnect.com, where we help good men become great men God's way by giving them real answers to real problems in the real world. Welcome to the Real Man Ride Along today, and I'm on my way to go work out and get some exercise in because I can use it, try to get my heart pumping, get the blood flowing. But I wanted to shoot this quick video for you because I have a question, and I'm going to share with you a personal testimony that's kind of embarrassing, but I think it could benefit you if you really take it to heart. And the question I want to ask you today is, do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? Now, the reason why I ask that question, because I get often asked by a lot of men about, my opinion on what do I think is the biggest thing that men struggle with when it comes to being a man. Is it being a spiritual leader? Is it an addiction or whatever it may be? But if you took every problem that a man faces that he struggles with, I can almost guarantee you, if you break it down to its bare minimum, to the root of the problem, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be a problem with him not knowing his identity. Now, when I say not knowing his identity, I'm talking about not knowing his identity, who he is in Christ. Now, I'm not going to give you a lesson on figuring out your identity. That's could be a whole nother topic. But I want to share with you a testimony, and it's kind of embarrassing, but I think that it could be very helpful. And I actually learned this lesson from my son. At the time, Kendall, I guess, was 10 years old. And let me set the stage for you. I was a divorced single parent with joint custody of my son, so he would be with me 1 week with his mom. And this particular week, Kendall was with me. And he had come in from outside playing, and we were supposed to go out to dinner together. And he was playing at a friend's house in the neighborhood. And when he came through when he came in the house, I was in my office, and he yelled out to me, "Dad, I'm home." I said, "Okay, Kendall, we're gonna go out to dinner in maybe about 30 to 45 minutes. So just be ready." He said, "Okay, Dad, I will be." Well, 30 to 45 minutes rolled by, and I go get my son so we can go out to dinner. But I had one small problem. I couldn't find him. Now, first thing I thought, well, let me look around the house. I'll find him somewhere. He's probably somewhere, maybe playing video games or something. So I'm shouting at the top of my lungs, calling him by name, but I'm not hearing any response. Something tells me to check the garage. So I look into the garage, and I see that the garage door is open, but he's not in the garage. So I'm assuming he left the house again because he got impatient, and he probably went back to one of his friends' house. So I immediately go down the street to go to his friends who he had come home from, and his friend's mom answered the door, and she said, "No, Kendall was not here, Joe. He left about 45 minutes ago." And yet I couldn't find him. So I go next door to our neighbor who Kendall was friends with, one of the neighbors was his friend. So I went to the neighbor and talked to the lady who was there, and I said, "Is Kendall hanging out with your son?" She said, "No, Joe, I haven't seen Kendall today." So now I'm really in a panic. So I made a big mistake by calling his mother. I called his mom. And of course his mom said, "What are you calling me for? He's with you." And I proceeded to tell her that I could not find my son. Now, how do you lose your son in your own house? So of course, I went back to the neighbors again, to his friends, and we all decided we're going to put together a search party to find Kendall. So I want you to imagine three homes together, coming together to try to find my son because we couldn't find him. So the neighbor next door, she agreed to get in her golf cart. We're going to ride around the community. And my ex-wife, she was on her way over to the house because now she's in a panic. So now I'm really losing it. So I fall to my knees and I prayed to God. I said, "God, you're all sovereign. And even though I don't know what Kendall is, I don't know where my son is, I know you do. And I trust you. So God, help me calm down and let me know, just give me peace in my heart that he's okay." And so I calmed down my breathing, and I proceeded to go back around the house again, looking for my son. And I decided to go to the guest room again. This time I looked in my guest room and I saw this little lump under the bed, but it looked like maybe a pillow. But of course, you got it. It was my son underneath the covers. So I touched him and I woke him up, and he woke up. Now you have to understand, my son has never spent a lot of time in our guest room, so I never expected him to be in the bed sleeping in our guest room. So I woke him up and I called off the search party. I called his mom first because I didn't want her to come over to the house. Then I called, got my friends in the neighborhood and told them we found him. He was in the house. So by this time, an hour had gone by and we could no longer go out to eat for dinner. It was too late, so I decided to cook something for dinner. And so Kendall's sitting at the table, and I'm getting to the point here. Kendall's sitting at the table, and I'm depressed, and I'm upset, and I'm angry. Not at him, but with myself. And my son noticed it. So Kendall asked me, he says, Dad, first of all, he said, Dad, I'm sorry that you couldn't find me. Don't you love 10-year-olds? He said, Dad, I'm sorry that you couldn't find me. I said, Kendall, it's not your fault. Daddy just, I don't know. I just couldn't find you. But it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And so he didn't understand. He said, but Dad, if it's not my fault, because he apologized, he said, why are you seem to be upset. You seem to be sad. And I said, Kendall, the reason why I'm upset and I'm sad is not because of you. It's because of what your mom and the neighbors are probably going to be thinking of me right now. He says, Dad, what do you mean? I said, Kendall, your mom already doesn't trust me much. And now she's probably going to never trust me again. And then I'm going to have all these people in our neighborhood now thinking I'm a bad parent because I lost my son and I couldn't find him in my own house. So I'm a little bit upset and depressed because none of these people will believe that I'm a good father. They're going to think that I'm a bad father. And my 10-year-old son said something to me that changed my life. He looked at me and he says, Dad, why do you care what they think? God knows you're a good dad, and I know that you're a good dad. So who cares what they think? Wow. From the mouth of babes. My son said that to me, and I can't tell you, but you know what I tell you in the Bible, that a peace that surpasses all understanding? A calm came over me and a peace came over me. And something broke in my spirit. From that point forward, I stopped caring what other people's opinions were of me. See, what anyone thinks of me, even you, is none of my business. Let me say that again. What people think of you is none of your business. What's more important to you? See, not even what my son thinks of me is any of my business. It's what does the Father think of me? So I ask you again, do you know who you are? Or are you just being what other people think you are? You can't even go by what you think you are. What does the Father say about you? Just like my son said, hey, who cares what other people think? God knows that I'm a good father. And so are you. So guys, ask yourself that question. Who are you? Are you letting God define and Christ define who you are? You're his righteousness. Or you're letting other people and even your own opinions define who you are. Guys, if this has blessed you, please share with other men. You know, as we always say, that we're males by birth, but we are men by choice. So choose to be the man that God called and created you to be, because a male is a terrible thing to waste. So I'll talk to you soon. Have a blessed day. And as always, stay in God's grip.